If you've ever felt that the church was meant to be more than a building, more than a service, more than a weekly routine, then this book was written for you. The True Church, Ekklesia The Undisputed Government of Heaven on Earth, by Mwangi, the branch seated in Zion, is not a devotional. It's not commentary. It's a strategic revelation. This book answers a question many believers are quietly asking. Why does the church pray so much, yet govern so little? From the opening pages, Mwangi dismantles the idea of the church as an audience and restores the biblical reality of the ecclesia as a governing body. Not a religious crowd, but a legislative assembly. Not spectators, but stewards of divine jurisdiction. Here's the central thesis. Jesus did not establish a religion. He restored a government. The word ecclesia itself means a called-out assembly authorized to make decisions on behalf of a higher authority. In other words, heaven's court on earth. This book takes that ancient truth and brings it into sharp, present-day focus. You'll encounter language you don't usually hear in church settings. Thrones, keys, jurisdiction, decrees, courts, sound, fire, rest. But these are not metaphors. They are operating systems. Mwangi writes with clarity and gravity, showing how Scripture consistently presents God as a king, Christ as a reigning judge, and the church as co-heirs seated with him, not someday, but now. From Moses' judicial structure to David's throne, from Christ's declaration in Matthew 16 to the river flowing from the throne in Revelation, a single pattern emerges. God governs through aligned people. One of the most striking revelations in the book is this. Worship is not primarily emotional, it is procedural. Prayer is not begging, it is legal petition. And prophecy, when aligned with heaven, is policy. This book reframes the day of the Lord, not as terror for the faithful, but as the unveiling of divine order through a mature bride. It reveals the assembly of fire, where sound becomes law, where the voice of the church carries the frequency of heaven, and where agreement releases governmental force. What makes this work different is its balance. Authority is never separated from humility. Fire is never detached from ethics. Power is always tethered to stewardship. Mwangi warns plainly, government without character becomes tyranny. That's why this book doesn't hype dominance, it calls for maturity. And then there is rest. Not passive rest, but Sabbath as throne. Rest as the posture of seated authority. Rest as the environment where heaven governs without resistance. This is where the book lands. The church does not advance by noise or numbers, but by jurisdiction, by alignment, by obedience. The true church, Ekklesia, is a call to leaders who know something is shifting, to intercessors who feel their prayers must evolve, to believers who sense that heaven is no longer asking for attendance, but agreement. This book doesn't ask you to escape the world. It equips you to govern within it. If you're ready to move from ritual to responsibility, from charisma to clarity, from waiting to reigning, then this book will meet you where you are, and move you where you were meant to sit. The throne is established. The keys are entrusted. The government is advancing. The true church, Ekklesia The Undisputed Government of Heaven on Earth, by Mwangi, the branch seated in Zion. This is not a message for the moment. It's a mandate for the age.